Hi, I'm Natasha Phillips. I'm in the RSE specialization, and I have she, her pronouns. So I actually moved to Colorado in 2018, which is about, four years before I applied to the program. I had a job in the same building as our program with the INSTAR department, that's the Institute for Arctic and Alpine Research. So I was doing biology research here and actually kind of had exposure to seeing the cohorts come in a few years while I was doing that work. So kind of like learned about it at the very first moment from just being in the same building as the program. I experienced the pandemic being in Boulder and my research job went away. So I spent some time doing odd jobs during the pandemic, as most people did. And then I tried to go to a different program abroad actually, staying in biology, but had some struggles with COVID there too. Came back, deciding to leave that program and not complete it, just come back and find something that was more suited for me. And met someone who was in the program at the time named Ari Maladina. And we just met at a cafe, Dry Storage, which is 1 block away from university, you can walk. And she gave me a lot of really good insight about the program, really emphasizing the networking and community focus of the program, and that really spoke to me. I left the other program in part because of the COVID impacts, but also in part because I realized that I didn't want to be in research anymore. I didn't want to really be focused on something that was hyper-academic. I wanted to do something that was more professionally oriented, but still gave me a lot of skills and was focused on something related to the environment. So all the boxes checked out. Yeah, so as I was browsing the MENV website, I have to say I was quite enticed by all the options, especially because of my biology background. I didn't have a lot of technical prereqs that would necessarily orient me towards any one of the specialization choices. However, I felt particularly drawn to the renewable and sustainable energy specialization for several reasons. The topmost reason being that renewable energy is a space where there's a lot happening right now, and aside from just looking at our MENV webpage, I felt that I was hearing a lot about innovation happening in renewable energy, seeing a lot in terms of development of renewable energy. Wind and solar have just taken off, and the cost of that kind of energy development has really decreased in the past decade or so. So it felt like a space where I definitely had a lot of opportunities when I finished the program. In addition to that, Josh Radoff, who is our RSE specialization lead, made a great impression, both on the interview that he gives that's on the webpage, but then meeting him in person and seeing his energy and the connections that he brings into the classroom. Those are all really valuable pieces of the renewable energy spec and definitely fulfilled what I hoped for coming in. A defining moment and experience. Well, there are so many moments, and they are along the same line as one another for the most part, of a sense of community, a sense of connection, and that goes both in terms of social community, having a lot of friends in the program and feeling that this group is really special, and that even if we are differentiated in our interests, spec-wise, we have a lot of overlapping interests and lifestyle, hobbies, and everyone here is just really kind for the most part, and interested in being friends with one another and interested in growing together. So I think, we went on a 24-person trip to Taos, New Mexico last semester. That was just totally non-school related plans, but everyone was in the program, and we had 3 days there and just had a fantastic time. So like managing that kind of trip and everyone committing and then following through and being there, those memories and getting to have those people around me and all my other experiences in the program, it's really great. Well, I moved to Colorado before I started the immunity program, so that may speak to my interest in the mountains and being outdoors. Living in Boulder, Colorado, you have immediate access to hiking. You can go hiking in between classes if you have a long enough break. And that's something that, I spend a lot of my time outdoors. So hiking, climbing, also go to the climbing gyms around so I can train and get technically better so that I can do better climbing outside. And I have 2 Australian Shepherd dogs, so love to take them out, go skiing with them in the side country. What else? In general, I like to travel and enjoy when I can bring my friends along those trips with me. Yeah, those are a lot of my hobbies. Reading energy books has become a new hobby that I also really enjoy. And it sounds kind of nerdy, but in fact, a lot of people in the program are really enjoying that we get to learn about what we're studying in such a enjoyable way, because there's a lot of different media types, like podcasts and books, and so it kind of makes it really fun. So even though I'm supposed to be talking about what I do for fun outside of school, it's pretty easy to merge that line, blur that line here. Yeah, I'm really excited that I was matched with my top choice for my capstone partner. I'm working with Invenergy, which is a renewable energy development company, who is also endeavoring into the transmission development space. So I have a great project with a great team that is kind of venturing into a little bit of new territory in terms of where the industry's gaze is shifting now. There's a lot of renewable energy development out there, and it needs the transmission in order to be distributed more evenly across the country. So it's an exciting project that's focused on some stuff that's pretty new, and which is cool. We feel like we get to break ground and make a difference in that way. It took me some time to figure out where I wanted to focus my attention when I started this program, because I was a biologist and now I'm moving into energy. There was so much to learn at the beginning that it was a little overwhelming to know what I wanted to focus on and where I might enjoy spending my time working. However, I think reading some of these extra books in my own free time, such as The Grid by Gretchen Baca and Superpower by Russell Gold, those books, along with just experiencing my first semester, really helped narrow down where I want to start my career. So I think that the development role is key, because you're part of the process of making sure we transition and decarbonize our grid nationally. And I think that's kind of big picture, something that's happening right now in this moment and over the next several decades. So I think it's really timely and topical. It's also a great space to enter your career or enter into, a career in the energy field, because you're going to learn a lot about how it all comes together and connects. So I feel like for those reasons, I kind of developed that interest in development work. And then when I matched with my capstone partner and have had our kickoff meeting and several months now of having cadence meetings and just figuring out what the day-to-day feels and looks like for a development role, I feel really good about it. It feels like what I want to be spending my time doing. And I know that they tend to be happy to hire on people after the capstone process if they've done a good job. So that's also really exciting. So for prospective students, anyone who thinks they have an inkling towards energy, it has not disappointed me in the slightest yet. And it may feel a little overwhelming at first because it's so exciting and there's so much going on, but have a little bit of faith and also know that you can count on your peers and the extracurricular events that we have, such as attending events in the community around energy. That will help be a clarifying process for you. Also, just being a big part of the community here, you get out what you put in, and it's all good stuff. So I definitely recommend anyone who joins the program to not be shy and look for ways to connect with your peers, and it will really enrich your experience here. There are a lot of great classes. Josh Radoff has really been contributing interesting and valuable RSE specific classes to our program. So that's exciting. There are new classes every semester that I've been here so far that are really hard skills based and valuable for laying the groundwork for my understanding of energy. So there's a lot to appreciate here and look forward to across the board, like fun and work. It's a nice balance.